Morning. Good morning. Yesterday I rode this thing for 1 hour indoors and hated every second of it. Regretted it almost. Today, hyped that I put in the work. It would have been so easy to just do nothing. You know, just. So now I take that momentum and I just swing it right in to today. Now, as you know, because you've been watching for a while, the running marathon I am doing with my dad and my brother. And for the last month or so, I've kind of been the one leading the charge, doing a lot of the work. My dad was running a bit, but he hurt his calf, like his calf muscle really, it just was streaking terrible pain that he was running into. And my brother was just kind of like, well, he was kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to describe what he's doing, but we're in like a group chat together. And for the last like 3 days where I had taken the weekend, they were sending like what they were doing. And it's getting impressive on their part. Like my dad yesterday, 60 minutes swimming in the pool, insane. 30 minutes on a stationary bike in their basement, 40 minutes of running. That's like you did like a small triathlon yesterday. And I almost did nothing. So I like having our group chat because anytime one of us feels like we're ready, I'll just coast the rest of the way. Someone else can post, hey, I did this. And then it's like reignites it. It's good. Highly recommend becoming competitive with your family when it comes to exercise. It does wonders for making each other feel bad. So in saying that, with complete contempt for the snow outside and the fact that Angela and I went and picked up this treadmill that we couldn't get into the house last night, I'm gonna go try and do 10 kilometers of running outside. That's the hope. I'll be able to do it. It's not gonna be fast because there's gonna be snow on the ground. But then I can send it to the group chat and everyone will be like, damn, Eric was outside running. I gotta do something. And then it's just all that. It's the back and forth that you're looking for. Looking to make my family feel bad. Just under 5 kilometers right now. Being outside, so much better than being inside. Just seeing the ground, moving, different scenery. I feel like I could be out here for 4 hours, happily. Which consequently is basically what I'm gonna do when I run the marathon, because that's the pace. But you know, you get what I'm saying. The ice is a little treacherous though. I need to keep that in mind when I see my pace, and it's not like fast. You know, you were slipping. You're almost falling, Eric. It's okay. Hey, 10.01 kilometers at a 5:22 minute and second per kilometer pace. Hyped on that. Hyped with there being snow on the ground like this. Icy roads. Sure. I like a 10 kilometer run. It's not so long that you're like, oh, it's gonna be all day and I'm gonna be wrecked all day. But it's like, it's just more than what a 5K is. 5K is almost too short. 10K I think is probably my sweet spot right now. Pretty hyped on that. I feel good. It's hard to know though, like I started running kind of in the morning when it was colder and very quickly, well, you can't really see the sun, but the sun started to come out, started melting all the ice on the road. It got just kind of warm, so I'm definitely overdressed. But it also means that this nicely packed down snow here, like this path, and all of this snow here, that's gonna start melting a lot sooner than I thought it was going to, which I love because it probably means I'll be able to just keep riding my cross-country bike and the Norton and Mr. Relatable all winter and not worry about having to own a fat bike because this will all be gone. Much better. Welcome to Gear Gab. In this installment of Gear Gab, I'd like to finally explain my disdain for fat bikes. So, I worked at a shop when fat bikes were widely introduced to the world. And if there's any other shop workers from that time on here, remember how annoying that was? Constantly answering, what are these for? And you're like, well, they're for this, you ride them in the snow. Like you ride them in the snow. Really? In the snow? You're gonna bike in the snow? And you're like, yeah, the big tires, they act as like a like a bicycle snowshoe. Oh, okay. I couldn't imagine riding in the snow. Anyway, have a good day. So that was the answer I always gave, but I had never ridden one yet. Like I hadn't even been on one for what it is I'm describing. They're for riding in through the snow. I don't know. But that explanation is compelling, isn't it? We live in Canada. There's snow. I like biking. I'm into it. Let's try it. Years ago, home for Christmas one year, me and my dad are both like, it's a compelling argument. You know, there's a snowstorm out there now. Let's go rent a couple of fat bikes. Let's go play in the snow. And there was a pretty good dump of snow that day. You know, not too dissimilar from what's here. Like, you know, there's a good amount of snow right here. So what do? First things first, ride the fat bike into this and immediately bad steering. It's not floating over it. It digs right into it. It actually doesn't float over it at all. At all. Immediate disappointment. Like immediate realization, like, oh, you don't get to just like ride through powder. Like it's not like a snowshoe where like you don't sink in super far. No. Nope. Turns out the trails kind of need to be like snowshoed in. So you create like a groomed path for you to take what is supposed to be the snowshoe of bikes out onto. That is not the way these bikes were sold to me when they were brought into the shop. So immediately feeling a little baited and switched here. Here's this idea. Here's this bike for the winter. It is for the snow, but it's got to be like groomed snow. It's got to be like the right conditions. You know, so the use case just got even more narrow than I originally thought it was. Right on. Now, on that day, we did go to some single track that did have all of the conditions were right. And honestly, it wasn't for me. I just didn't find it that fun. I personally just sort of felt like riding this heavy, slow bike through packed down, like very smooth, packed down snow. Single track that normally would have something fun to have to fight against under it was just like mind-numbingly kind of boring. I just thought it was boring. And I've tried them maybe 3 or 4 more times since, same outcome every single time. Wild disappointment. One of the times Angela really wanted to try one. She's like, that looks so fun. I was like, I'm telling you, it's not gonna do what you think it's gonna do. But she was adamant, she wanted to try it. And within like 2 minutes, she was like, this sucks. Isn't this supposed to like go through the snow? Like, aren't you supposed to, why do I keep falling over? And I'm like, it's all kind of made worse by the fact that out here on the east coast of Canada, the weather's just not here for it anyway. When we do get those days of conditions where like a fat bike is the one to take out, one of two things is gonna happen the next day. It's either gonna get so warm and rainy in the next couple of days that everything's gonna turn to soup. No matter what you ride on it, it's gonna get wrecked. Or it's gonna get so cold that everything's gonna freeze solid that I can go out on this thing with its 2.6s and do no damage and have just as much fun. Which we have done here. We've done on this channel a bunch of times. Only thing that sucks about it is on those days where a 2.6 can go out and do 0 damage at all, there's still some of the guys on fat bikes who are like, you're out here making ruts. You're gonna make ruts. Get out of here. Get out of here. So sprinkle in a little bit of fat bike spite as well. So I just sort of put them on the same level as like the people who try to own snowmobiles here in Nova Scotia. They're big, you gotta store them. You're not really gonna get any great days out of it. And if you do get a good day, it's gonna be maybe four days. So kind of an expensive, big, annoying thing to keep around for just like those very far and few between days of use. It's like what you see rich people do. They're like, I don't wanna rent or borrow, I'll just buy it and it won't be in the way. If I use it again, great. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying for here is fat bikes are just for rich people. Thanks for watching this episode of Gear Guy. subscribe for more. And hey, before you want to start a fight in the comments with me down below, actually, no, go ahead. That's fine. I think Angela and I are going to go for wings. Based on the open sign, I would say yes. Eric doesn't cook.